Remember that one story he told? He says, look, Diddy used to put these parties together with $1 million, and he says, I'm going to put $1 million party. I'm like, Diddy, I'm going to do a party with $45.
Today, we are finally hearing from Oscar and Grammy winner Jamie Foxx after his mysterious health scare, saying he has been to hell and...
Buckle up, Hollywood shaking again. What started as a whisper turned into a full-blown scandal hurricane. Word on the street, Diddy poisoned Jamie Foxx. Yep. That Diddy, that Jamie Foxx, let that sink in. We're talking about one of music's biggest moguls allegedly slipping something into the system of one of Hollywood's brightest stars. And just like that, boom, the internet exploded, conspiracy theories, FBI rumors, social media spiraling into meltdown mode. And whether there's a smoking gun or not, this story, it hits deep.
Jamie Foxx addresses whether Diddy was responsible for his 2023 hospitalization during live shows.
Because it feeds into everything we love to hate about fame, power, secrets, and what really happens behind closed velvet curtains. It all blew up in October 2024. TikTok went wild. X, formerly Twitter, started connecting dots like it was a true crime board. Jamie's bizarre health scare from the year before, people started linking it directly to Diddy's legal firestorm. And the receipts? They came pouring in. Clips of Jamie on stage in Atlanta for his Netflix tapings got dissected like criminal evidence. Eyewitnesses came forward like it was Law and Order Hollywood edition. What did they claim? That Jamie didn't hint? He didn't suggest? He called Diddy out by name.
During the tapings of his upcoming Netflix special, what had happened was Jamie Foxx reportedly stated that he was responsible for what happened to him, and Foxx is the one who called the FBI on comb.
Allegedly, Jamie told the crowd that Diddy caused his mysterious hospitalization. And the kicker? He said he tipped off the feds, the move that landed Diddy in cuffs. One moment, one mic, and the whole empire starts to shake. But the real game changer, a man named Arthur Alliston, aka Choke No Joke. Industry insider, loud, unfiltered, and adamant. Arthur swore he saw it all, 2 shows, front row. And according to him, Jamie didn't hold back. He named Diddy, said, he's the reason this happened. I called the feds. Some thought Jamie was joking. Arthur? Not at all. He said it was dead serious. And then came big homie Cece, a celeb security guard who backed up every word. Said he knew Diddy poisoned Jamie, that Jamie's stage confession wasn't comedy, it was courage. And this wasn't fan gossip. They swore this was insider truth the public was never supposed to hear. But of course, not everyone was convinced. Another attendee, actor Dennis LaWhite, was quick to say, hold up. According to Dennis, yes, Jamie talked about the rumors, but he did it playfully. He laughed it off.
Look, April 11th last year, bad headache. Asked my boy for an Advil. I was gone for 20 days.
He even denied it, saying something like, if Diddy was responsible, I'd be dead. He said Jamie never mentioned the FBI or law enforcement, just like jabs, not bombshell confessions. But the thing is, conflicting stories, they don't kill a rumor, they feed it. Now fans were searching Jamie's every move, every post, every word. That thank you he posted to Atlanta hospital staff, was it a low-key nod to a near-death situation? That emotional July 2023 video where he said his journey was dark and praised his family for protecting him, was that a hidden message? And the biggest question of all, why was Jamie so vague about what really happened? Then came the clip that set the internet on fire, Joe Rogan's podcast. You know, if Rogan talks about it, it's hitting the mainstream. Joe and his guests didn't confirm the theory, but they didn't shut it down either. They actually leaned in, saying the timing between Diddy's arrest and Jamie's return to the spotlight was suspicious, too suspicious. And that's when the whole thing stopped being a rumor and started feeling like a full-blown Hollywood conspiracy.
So they told me, I'm in Atlanta, they told me, my sister and my daughter took me to the first doctor.
Jamie's new stand-up special, What Had Happened was set to drop on Netflix in December 2024. It was supposed to be a comeback, but people started calling it a confession. Those shows in Atlanta, they weren't just comedy. They were raw, emotional. They felt more like therapy sessions than punchline nights. Fans were begging to know, would the special include those accusations against Diddy? Or did Netflix cut them out to avoid a lawsuit? And Jamie? Oh, he didn't clear a thing up. He made it messier. In his promo, he called the special like going to church, a mix of laughter, pain, and truth. He said, I had an opportunity to tell my side of the story. And fans were like, what story, Jamie? Why so mysterious? Why so careful? TMZ tried to brush it off as jokes, but Arthur Alliston, he wasn't buying it. He doubled down, saying Jamie meant every word and the special would prove it. Even Snopes couldn't kill the rumor. They called it unfounded, but admitted, there's no proof either way. And that's all the internet needs to keep the fire blazing. Then came the real twist. This wasn't just about Jamie anymore.
One is in the process At least,
I don't know.
It's
It's
gonna
been
but hold
months.
on. He's in jail. There's a
Hold
lot
on.
going on. There's a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
lawsuits. That one is like, we're going to find out. Jamie Foxx just recently said that P. Diddy poisoned him.
Whoa!
And that's why he got that stroke.
I've heard that.
He talked about it on stage.
He said it?
His alleged claims cracked open something way bigger, a wave of dark allegations against Diddy that had been whispered for decades. Suddenly, this wasn't a scandal, it was an exposure. And the secrets that used to hide behind Diddy's fame, they're bursting into the spotlight. Let's talk about that empire. Diddy wasn't just some celeb who came and went. He was a kingmaker. He built his entire career on being untouchable. One call from Diddy, your life could change. He had the power to make artists, kill contracts, freeze careers. He wasn't just part of the industry, he was the industry. But with all that power came a level of untouchable privilege. And with that, allegedly a pattern of abuse and control that most people never dared speak about, until now. The lawsuits started bubbling up, and honey, these weren't basic, he didn't pay me lawsuits. These were the stuff of nightmares. Women came forward, multiple women, alleging that Diddy had lured them into dangerous spaces with promises of fame and fortune, only for those dreams to turn into hellish traps.
A lot of times you have him with a younger female, and there's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to reel in. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand the consent.
Allegations of manipulation, coercion, emotional abuse, and worse, so much worse. They say Diddy didn't just want loyalty, he demanded it and punished anyone who disobeyed. One anonymous woman, Jane Doe, told a story that had people clutching their chests. She said she woke up in a place she didn't recognize with bruises she couldn't explain. She remembered nothing from the night before. And the lawsuit, it alleged that Diddy used moments like that to dominate and control, to make women feel isolated, powerless, and dependent. This wasn't just about power over careers. This was about power over someone's mind, their safety, their body. And she wasn't the only one. A former employee, Rodney Little Rod Jones, dropped his own bomb. He said Diddy expected him to arrange guests, to monitor, to record. That's right. Rodney alleged that Diddy kept footage that could be used to blackmail or silence. We're talking about a man allegedly archiving control. That's not just abuse, that's strategy. And it gets worse. Dawn Richard, once part of the girl group Danity Kane, came forward with her own horror. She claimed Diddy created a culture of fear.
Good morning, Michael. At this point, we've all probably heard about these infamous parties. Diddy's assistant now giving us details about what he says were called Wild King Night.
That speaking out wasn't just discouraged, it was dangerous. She said he once threw a heavy object at her during a heated argument over creative differences. That he yelled, intimidated, broke people down emotionally until they were too scared to even push back. And then came the most disturbing lawsuit of all. A young woman, a teenager at the time, alleged that she was invited to a Diddy-hosted event that spiraled into something so dark, so horrifying, that even seasoned journalists couldn't believe what they were reading. She claimed she was trapped, that his influence was so suffocating she felt she couldn't escape, and others backed her up. Witnesses allegedly saw him retaliate against anyone who tried to walk away. His motto? Loyalty or destruction. And then there were the parties, the infamous parties, the ones everyone heard about but no one dared to really talk about. Until now, whispers of chaotic, hedonistic gatherings became court-documented nightmares. These weren't just industry events. They were allegedly orchestrated with chilling precision. According to reports, every guest had a role to play, and those who didn't want to, well, they didn't get a choice.
He said in the special that, I was hospitalized by this person. And mind you, him and Diddy have had a business falling out. They said they had a beef. So the Choke No Choke was a videographer, and he was like, yo, I was there. He said Diddy was responsible for what happened to him and that he's the one that called the FBI. And Choke added, I don't think he was joking.
Then came the federal raids. That's right, the feds swept into Diddy's properties and found items that allegedly matched what accusers had been saying for years. And suddenly, this wasn't just Jamie Foxx's alleged story anymore, it was a full-on network being exposed. This was about systemic power abuse hiding in plain sight. At the heart of it all, control. Diddy allegedly ran his circle like a kingdom, a place where careers, access, and even safety depended on his approval. Step out of line? You didn't just lose your job, you lost your future. Witnesses said the retaliation was fast and brutal. People blackballed from the industry, shunned, forgotten. And those who stayed lived in fear, always calculating their next move, their next sentence, their next breath. Hollywood wasn't just complicit, they were silent. And for years, silence let this grow. And here's the kicker, the part that'll make your stomach turn. How long this went on. Diddy's been front and center for decades. Red carpets, award shows, magazine covers, he was everywhere. But behind the flash, allegedly a monster with a master plan. Quiet, calculated. ruthless. People knew they had to. You don't build an empire that big without leaving smoke trails. So why didn't anyone stop it? One word: power. Diddy wasn't just a celebrity, he was untouchable. In Hollywood, power shields power. But now, that shield's cracking fast. Friends are ghosting him, brands are bailing, fans are stunned, and now it's not if Diddy falls, it's how hard. With Diddy behind bars and the charges stacking up, the questions are loud and raw. How did this last so long? This isn't just one man's downfall, it's an expose of an entire industry that let him rise. That looked the other way. Who knew? Who stayed quiet and who wasn't allowed to speak? One thing's clear now, the era of untouchable moguls is over. No more hush-hush, no more glam over truth. Diddy's empire, it's crashing, and we're watching every single second. So what do you think? Is this the end of Diddy's dark reign? Or is there another twist waiting? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because trust, this story's just getting started.